Welcome to another episode of Nights at the Brown Table, a podcast with three Pacific Islanders sharing our views and the lens through which we see the world. I'm Sefa.
I'm Sila.
To the vast interactive space of the interwebs, it is a songstress, seamstress, mistress, and mattress, a returned journalist of this generation. And I am here to speak to all of you because I have a very important announcement.
What's your announcement, Lamah?
I just did it. That's that.
What?
He's a songwriter.
I'm a songwriter.
Yeah. Oh, no, and he added journalist.
Journalist.
Journalist / songwriter. People have been listening to testimony and have been
Love
requesting
it.
the full
I
version.
saw.
No, they have.
But what you don't know about this testimony song is there's a rap and there's a dance that Sefa choreographed as well.
Don't put my name on this. Don't put my name on this.
Cannot show the dance.
So if you
Just the
want
first
to,
few seconds
if
of
you
the
want to
dance.
see this video, let us know.
Dun, 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 dun.
Request it. Send it through the interwebs. Send it through the DMs, and I'll get that video up.
Oh, wow.
I was like,
I'm like, oh,
don't put my name
wow.
on this. My goodness. This week is Tongan Language Week. Malolele to all you people out there. That's about as Tongan as you're going to get on this podcast, especially if it's relying on me to represent.
Wow, and that's on Sinohipa. Shout out to
all
Tongan
my
Twitter.
tokos.
Toko
And that's
sauce.
it. That's all I can say because that's all I know.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I know. But it is Tongan Language Week, and we hope you guys are learning good stuff. More than Sinohipa, but Sinohipa is good to know.
What are some other words you can, like just some little words that you can teach ourselves on?
Fefehake.
Fefehake, saipe. Fefehake means how are you?
Oh, fefahake.
And then saipe means very good, like, well, I'm good. People have been posting stuff up on social media, on Twitter and stuff like that. Learn different words. Nice words, guys.
All the good ones.
All the good ones. All the good ones. Not the ones starting with U and ending in C.
Oh, like...
What's
Uso?
that?
You mean us? You mean us?
You know what I mean. A couple weeks ago, a Pacifica IG influencer came under fire as a few of his IG stories were shared and scrutinized on the interwebs for being problematic. This influencer imitated Ahad Nabi's I'm strong, but you made me even stronger. Ahad Nabi is the son of one of the people who were killed in the Christchurch shooting. And this influencer imitated that specific line. It got on the internet. What were your initial thoughts when you saw it?
So I guess let me just contextualize this. So when we were first discussing this, we wanted to come from a place of not judging the person per se, but we really wanted to open up the discussion on how we're able to identify these problematic behaviors and how we can kind of unpack it to a point where it's, how can we improve from this? So when I first watched this, it was very insensitive. If you've seen the video of Ahad Nabi, he's in court and he is front facing the terrorist, and he says some very heartfelt words, and I didn't agree with the way that it was ridiculed, because I think that's very sad. You can't. I forgot what he was doing. He was just doing dishes or something.
Yeah, I think it was his wife that was recording the video, the IG story. So I think he was either in the kitchen, he was doing dishes. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, so I think he took the context of those words, which for me were very heartfelt and profound, and then he ridiculed them in a sense, and I thought that was, my first point was insensitive.
Because when I saw it come on IG, I saw it under someone else's, they put up as an Instagram post, but I saw recently when I went back, it's been taken down, and they labeled him being anti-Muslim. And for me, I didn't agree with that label, because I didn't think that he was being anti-Muslim. And I think with a lot of us Pasefika people, we have a different kind of sense of humor.
Yeah.
Where I think for me seeing that, I thought that he was seeing it as a thing of, because of what Ahad Nabi had done afterwards. When he did that, when he had said that line, he middle fingered up to the terrorists, which is, to me, I'm like, I understand why he'll do that. But at the same time, seeing it, I did laugh, because I was just like, I've never seen that in court. Not that I've ever been to court, but in any kind of depiction of court, I've never seen anyone say that and then just stick up two middle fingers very calmly, and then he walks away. And so for me, I could see how this person would have seen it as funny. At the same time, I totally get what you're saying with it being insensitive, because the witness was talking about how his father died and about the impact that it's had on him, and how he was saying that even though what you did, you thought it would make us weak, it's made me stronger. So I get that. I get that as well. But I just didn't see it as being anti-Muslim, because I didn't see him say anything. He was just imitating a person, and I thought that he would have done the same if the person was Tongan or of any other ethnicity as well.
Do you think it was anti-Muslim?
No, I don't think it was anti-Muslim.
I
think Sila's right. Yeah.
I found this a lot on the schoolyard, but whenever an islander was ridiculed, they'd always say, "Oh, the teacher's racist." When you pull it out all the time, it diminishes the value of when someone actually is racist, just because they're criticizing you, who is an islander. But it doesn't mean every criticism towards you is because you're an islander. You just happen to be islander. And so in this circumstance, I find it in that camp where he is Muslim, but he's not making fun of him because he's Muslim. I do think it's insensitive, though. I do think it's very insensitive.
Regardless of the fact, like, you just don't make fun of.
Yeah, especially in that what he's doing. I was like, he's talking about his dad.
'Cause I do mock a lot. Like, I imitate people all the time, like regularly. And in my mind, I'm just like, which is really dumb, and there's no justification for it. But sometimes I'm like, I'm not mocking them because of this. I'm like, I'm just doing it for a laugh because it makes me laugh. But at the same time, if someone is, for example, with Ahad, he was expressing something because it's him and his grief, then I'm just like, oh, that is insensitive.
It's hard to determine what it is.
'Cause I mock on the regular.
And a lot of the shows that I do watch are quite, I find, irreverent, and sometimes they talk about some of those harder topics. Like I'm currently rewatching Afterlife. So he passes a schoolyard of like children, primary school age, but that his nephew goes to, and there's a bully who bullies his nephew, and he starts threatening the bully to leave his nephew alone. Ricky Gervais.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't threaten him because he was being a bully.
What does he threaten him for?
So he threatened him because as he was talking to his nephew was saying he was having a hard time. Then he kept talking, and then the boy yelled out, "Pedo!" And then he goes, "What? What did you say? Pedo!" Then he leans down and he goes, "Look here, yeah." And then he threatens him.
And that, like, it's a very... I mean, it definitely, it's either on the line or it kind of crosses the line on some of the things that Ricky Gervais says, but I still find it very funny. So I get what you mean. It's a hard one to determine whether it was... I do describe it as insensitive, but I don't know whether it's right or wrong or funny or not funny. I don't know.
I mean, ask Ahad.
Yeah.
See how he feels. I guess the thing for me is like, why was it even recorded in the first place? Why did you feel the need to put this on social media? There's a time and place.
Yeah.
With Ricky Gervais, what he's saying, though the circumstance is real, he's not referencing a real person or event. It's a subject that he's talking about. Whereas with this specific instance, you are referencing a real life person in that situation.
Especially if we're talking about like call-out culture and the toxicity that exists within call-out culture. And if you have been somebody that has been called out previous to this, and then you still exude problematic behavior, then I can see why people...
Because they're seeing it time and time again.
Yeah.
You apologize before, but you're still doing other stuff that's... But I think sometimes then it brings in the factor then, do we have to constantly filter ourselves in order to be more palatable to everyone else? But at the same time, if something is being problematic because you're targeting people or if you're targeting certain groups, and I know with him, there have been certain other things that he's done where people see as it's harmful behavior or it's harmful kind of way of thinking and talking, I can see where then we're just like, oh, we should, it's not necessarily filtering, but it's the whole thing of learning. Like, what can we do to be better so that we can change that way of thinking? Does that make sense?
Do you think that there is a right way to go about it?
Filtering can sometimes come across as being performative, where you filter, but you haven't done the necessary change, in opposed to the whole thing of learning from what you've been caught out on, trying to understand, taking in the pros and the cons. Why do I need to change this way of speaking or behaving, and how is it harmful to other people? Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense if someone has taken accountability for their actions.
Yeah.
But if someone has twisted the words of how people feel and they're saying stop being Karens, that for me doesn't show growth.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
And so like you were saying, I think it goes back to like if Ahad, if he came out and said that what that person did was harmful, I would understand. I'm like, okay, I support that. But because we've all assumed, oh no, because it isn't just assuming. Have we assumed that he would have taken offense?
I think it is because Ahad hasn't given a response. And if we're going off of their response as well in the situation with,
but should we wait for him to respond?
It comes down to your moral compass. Like, do you make fun of the dead people?
But he's not making fun of the dead person.
But he's taking the context of what Ahad did in his speech and then ridiculed it.
Well, I mean, he's imitating and mocked it. I totally get what you're saying.
That's what I mean. Like, it's linked to your moral compass of how you feel.
What you think is right and wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like, I don't understand where the hard thinking is. It's plain and simple.
Like, I think with their response to the backlash, for me, I was just like, instead of saying, oh, we're going to think on it, because it's like another IG influencer when they got called out a bit about a tweet that they had put out, and they said that it was fatphobic. I saw how the person deleted the tweet, and then they had written, I might disagree, but I'm going to think on this, and I apologize to anyone that it may have hurt, and if it triggered anything. So I can see how with that person, you could see that they weren't just doing okay, I'm going to attack and sling back, stones and whatever. And I could see that with this situation, when people were calling them out and they were saying, oh, that was wrong, this is harmful. And instead of saying, oh, we're going to think on it, or if it hurt anyone, we apologize. Instead, they did the post of, oh, you guys are all Karens, you take things too seriously. So I can see how it's the reaction as well to how people would have, they're like, oh, we find this harmful. So I can see how it could be. I think that's the other side of it, is when people feel that something is wrong, I think we should try and sit with it to try and understand where they're coming from, to be able to see what can I do better, or
So in talking about the response that they had, why do you think they responded that way?
Instead of doing the whole thing of, oh, wait, I need to understand this better. Like, oh, what did I do? Can you explain it further? Or people were explaining it further, why they felt that it was wrong. But I could see with them, they just wanted to protect themselves.
Yeah.
So it's the whole defense mechanism of, oh, wait, what did you say? And it's, no, you're this, and this. Hence why the name calling other people Karens and whatnot.
Because I can feel that too. Like, the way that I see it as, I guess, being Samoan, I know that sometimes we can be very stubborn and prideful people. So when somebody comes for you, then you literally go and attack.
Yeah.
I think that is a problematic behavior where that's just how we grew up. For me, as growing people, we should somehow learn how to stop ourselves and just to like kind of take our emotion out of the situation, to reflect first, instead of like, oh, these people are all coming at us, like, let's just do something, have you ever heard that saying of, if you're going to if someone sends you an email and you want to like write back at them, but then your manager says, no, leave it for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow you have a better understanding, you feel a lot more clear-headed. That's how I feel. So like, going into that part is hard.
Yeah.
As I guess for me being a Samoan, because we are stubborn.
Yeah.
We're not saying we all are stubborn, but I know like that's a trait that we have, and we are prideful people, and we just go straight into attack mode.
Yeah.
Is this person Samoan, by the way? I'm not saying that's a blanket.
Are they?
Samoan or Samoan?
Are they?
So he's Samoan, but his wife is Tongan.
Okay. Do you mean
Can
with
I just
people?
say, both Tongans and Samoans, their voices and their portrayal of Pacific, it like, I'm just like, oh man, I wish we could do better.
What do you mean?
Like, it seems like whenever it comes to when people represent Pacific culture, the cultures that always seem to push forward are like Samoans and Tongans instead of just like the broad spectrum. Because I'm like, we're not the only Polynesians there.
But in number-wise, are
Number-wise
there more of us?
and representation, I reckon. Oh, maybe it's just
But just
those are
because
the
of
people we
numbers.
follow.
Yeah, maybe if we were
I don't
more
follow
in
him.
a
Which
different...
goes to the whole point of we are a product of our environment.
True.
I think there needs to be a balance of both. I understand that people need to grow and be better, and that you would hope that's how people choose to live their life. But there also needs to be a point where people just don't care what others say. And in a situation, because in that situation where I say it now, and it could very well change, but if I was in Ahad's position, if somebody imitated me in that circumstance, I don't from the position I am now, it could very well be different if my father died in that way. But from the position I am now, I wouldn't be offended.
But that's our own
That's
perspective.
Yeah, but that's my own
own-
perspective.
yeah,
But if
that's
we're
true.
doing it, that's what I mean. By which code are we set to behave in society? If we're doing the golden rule, treat others how you'd want to be treated, that's how I'd want to be treated. I don't mind being treated that way. So do I treat others that way? Or am I going by how you want to be treated? Is the rule treat others how you would want to be treated, or treat others how others want to be treated?
Well, I feel like the context is different though because they're posting this on social media.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
When you
one
post
who
something on
imitated?
social media,
It's
wildfire then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think people have the right to criticize as well, but it doesn't mean that they're right though, just because they're offended. Just because people have a problem with
Yeah.
it doesn't mean he has to take it down. I mean, he has to be open to the criticism,
Yeah.
which we've seen in previous posts of his. He's
Yeah.
that type of character, but in regards to what is actually right or wrong, I don't know. That's the part where I just don't know. Because if he's living his life by how other people decide he should be,
No, but it's not. I think that's the thing. It's not saying that people should dictate how you should live, but we should take into consideration how other people feel by certain
for sure.
words and by
Yeah.
certain behaviors. And so for me, I can see how if someone is hurt, especially the people that you target, if they're hurt by it and they tell you, oh, hey, can you not do that? I think we should do better, take that into consideration and try to remedy the situation. Because I think if the person says that, especially the people you're targeting, if they say it's offensive, then for me, I wouldn't do that again. I would apologize. I would be like, okay, I'm so sorry. I will try do better, and I'll find other ways. Because I'm just like, if you don't want to, as a community, the whole thing of us is we should find ways to live together, work together, and at the same time understand each other.
Yeah.
And so I get that. With him, it was the response. And at the same time, it is true. If you do put something up on social media, especially if you have that many followers, you're open to public criticism.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you have to be ready to receive the criticism. And I think it's the whole thing of, what do you do then? If people, like, are you going to attack, or will you think about what can we do to remedy this?
Because I think it's also important to know whether or not you asked for this platform, you're on it now, and you have X amount of followers.
Yeah.
What type of message are you trying to send out? Like, and what examples do you want to show people when it comes to being criticized?
I think from his previous post, I think we know what kind of message.
And that's the thing, because like I'm assuming none of us follow him, but a lot of the people I do follow, I find that we may have common ideas and opinions. A lot of the people that I'm just like, oh, I could see that they heavily disagreed with what he did. And so I think with that, I was just like, oh, I took that into consideration. I was just like, oh, okay. Because off the cuff, when I saw the video, I was like, oh, wait, I don't see any problem with this because I do that.
Yeah.
At the same time, right now, it's making me think of how I am problematic and how I can be problematic with my imitations and the way I mock. And so for me, I think seeing that and just having this conversation, it's making me reflect on, like I should try to consider other people's feelings as well. Take that into account.
But even with what you were saying before, that the situation where you're trying to remedy it, if there is a disagreement, that would be dependent on what Ahad said about this and what he wants done. I think everyone else taking offense, I don't think they have a place to, and not that they don't have a place to, you can feel whatever you want. But in regards to him having to change his behavior because you find it offensive, nah. This is Ahad and Ahad alone.
Are people asking him to change?
Well, what's the criticism of him for? If they're saying, like, what are you
They're not
just
saying
criticizing
like
him?
change.
Yeah.
They're pointing it out. They're calling it out.
Oh, yeah. But, like, that's what I mean.
That's
so
different.
is it just, what is the point of that criticism then? If it's just, we're just calling it out. Okay, cool. Do we just end it there? Is that how far they want the conversation to go? Or are we assuming that they would want him to either take it down or change? Do you kind of get what I mean? Like, if it's just about us saying words at each other and then ignoring each other's of what we're saying, then
but that's what I mean. Then I feel like you're disregarding people having a platform, people having followers, and being an example. Whether or not you asked for it, you probably didn't, but you have one now. So what are you going to do?
That, as in that the guy,
as a person, if you were under public scrutiny, what would be the usual?
I mean, you could change for a performative reason, as in so you don't lose followers, or kind of like I guess I don't know. I don't think there's a right or wrong as in what this guy should do. Like, if he changes, that's good. You went through that process. That's up to you. But in regards to whether he should or should not, because somebody doesn't like what he said, I mean, I don't know. Because in my mind, that means there's only. It's like the world is only aiming for one school of thought that can ever be publicly announced, that can ever be publicly spoken about. If you have any sort of differing opinion, it's almost like there's no room for that anymore unless everyone agrees with it. It comes back to that question. What is he going to do? And I think he's done it. Like, he's just that type of person. Even when you were saying, like, what he did wasn't anti-Muslim, that doesn't mean he's not. Just putting it out there. There is still room.
Yeah.
Like, if he ever comes out with something that actually is later on, Would you do it, Lamah? If people came for you? Like, I don't see you saying something so insensitive, but if you're in a situation where you said something and you thought it was funny, but then somebody took offense to it.
Like, it's easy enough for us to say, oh yeah, we'll do this.
Yeah.
But when you are in that situation, especially when I was talking about me being stubborn and prideful, I would say, oh, you know what? I would give the benefit of the doubt. Like, I would go and reflect.
Yeah,
but then I'd be like, boom.
Wait, what'd you say?
That's what I'm saying.
My face.
Oh, square up.
And that's what you're saying with your hair.
Totally
I get what
that.
that's what I'm saying. I was like, I don't know.
Because for me, I've been caught out in real life. I don't usually record that stuff and stick it up on social media. But in real life, when I have, especially in the past, and how I'm grateful that there's such a thing called growth.
And delete. And the delete button.
And delete. Where I'm just like, the few times that people have told me that, I didn't like that, or I felt that offensive. From my memory, I can remember saying, I'm so sorry, thank you for telling me, and I'll try to do better or whatever. But the other times, like, for example, when it's my siblings and I've been insensitive and imitated them, I fight.
See, mine's the opposite. If I have a rapport with you and they come to me and say something, then I'll change.
Yeah.
If it's people I don't know and I don't have that much of a rapport with, piss off. No. What are you with? Is it the family that you change for, like closer people, or do you change for the?
Well, I don't think that's the thing, because I don't like the word change. Because I don't think it's called changing; it's called growing.
Yeah.
So if someone did call me out, I would assume, because this has happened before. What I would do is I would take time to reflect on what has been asked of me, and then I would want to figure out, like, why did I perpetuate this type of behavior? Why did they find it offensive? And what similarities, or what can I work out in order to recognize and acknowledge this behavior now, so I don't do this again? It depends on the situation.
It depends on the situation or the person.
Well, I feel like, because I feel as though we need to contextualize the gravity of what's being asked first. If it's something like very simple, like, oh, I don't like the way you speak. Well, I'm like, well, I'm sorry, this is the way I speak.
Well, then block your ears.
Yeah, for real.
But if it's like, I didn't like the way that you spoke to me, the way that you spoke to me was in a very negative tone. And then I would be like, okay, wait, sorry. And then reflecting on the incident, and then being like, you know what? I can see how I was negative or how you have thought that was a negative thing.
So I think that to me is the key, is the whole thing of a lot of us, we can't control our future responses. But if we plant that whole way of being of, okay, I think I'm going to try to do better with, in future, I really hope that I will listen and try to understand other people instead of just reacting straight away off the cuff because of my emotions.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for us to take that into consideration now in order to prepare for future situations or scenarios where something may arise where it's you're being called out for being problematic.
I find myself apologizing twice.
Yeah.
Once for the thing that I did initially, and then for my reaction. Because I'm like, man, sometimes I can't control it. I'm just going to react badly. 2 days later, oi, sorry, man. Oi, sorry about what I initially said that made you offended, and then sorry for calling you a wuss because you acted offended. You know what I'm saying? I double apologize.
Because you took time to think.
Yeah, I took time to think. And it does take time to think. Even in situations like that, I would agree. I do that.
Because I think, when it comes to discourse, I think discourse is very useful for us because it enables us to really recognize what we're perpetuating out as people, but then it also enables us to grow.
Yeah.
So with this situation, despite the fact that it had negative connotations surrounding it, we're discussing it and we're unpacking it and we're able to like dissect separate parts of the situation. And then we can see from different angles, we're critically thinking of what the issue is.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important. But a lot of people don't have that tenacity to kind of just, let's unpack this. No,
they'll just give up.
Yeah.
Square up.
Or they do the whole thing of, that's just the way I am.
Oh, do your square up pose again. Do your square up pose.
You know what I mean?
And I think that's the thing when we're stuck in that mindset of, well, that's just who I am.
Yeah.
Only God can judge me. But the whole thing
no. There's a lot of other people doing it. Not just him.
Welcome to my Twitter.
And so the whole thing of, we should always leave room for growth and to progress. And so that's the thing. We shouldn't just be stuck in a way of being in order to fulfill the measure of our creation and come into fullness of who we really are. We should always leave space for growth and actively try to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not all perfect.
No, hell no.
We're going to make mistakes. We're going to be problematic like this person here.
Yeah.
But if we try to be better people, then that's all we can do.
Then it really becomes falai mokingi.
What does that mean?
So the reason why I was just like, is it problematic or is it just falai mokingi? So there is this Facebook, and I think they have an Instagram page as well called Hollywood Husbands of Samoa, I think they were called. And so they did this. So they do this thing where they take clips from movies and they do Samoan voiceovers totally different to what the scene is.
Oh, I've seen some of them.
Yep. And so one of the scenes is where Blood in, Blood Out. Do you guys know what that movie is?
Yeah.
So it's
I didn't even know what Brain Thugs and Harmony was. Let's move on.
Wait, is it Puff Daddy? And so they took a scene from Blood in, Blood Out where it's like, Vatos Locos for life.
Yeah.
And in this scene, what happens is Milkweed, he's going through the cafeteria and he's getting his food. And I can't remember what the food in the movie is, but what they made it out was, so as he's coming, there's a guy that starts throwing, because he's angry, starts throwing a fit. And the manager's like, hey, it's only for mokingi, man. Which means just relax. It's only pumpkin. It's only pumpkin. And so it's the whole thing of is something problematic, or should we just relax because it's only pumpkin? So the whole thing of with Pacific, the whole thing with Pacific Humour, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is it problematic, or is it just something so simple?
Well, I was going to say, because a lot of times when someone does something offensive, and then you're like, "Lol, jokes, jokes."
Wait,
Not jokes. It was jokes.
Just relax, man.
But then, I was reading this meme. It was about sexual abuse, though.
Okay, hell no. Sorry,
okay, wow.
No, it was just about sexism.
Okay.
So this person was in the office.
Yeah.
And one of the bosses was making very suggestive comments to the person in the story. And then she made a remark coming back to him. And then he said, oh, no, I was just joking. And the sis was like, oh, can you explain the joke?
Oh, okay, I've seen
And
that
then
one,
then he couldn't explain the joke
Yeah.
because it wasn't a joke.
Yeah.
because what he was saying was gross.
Yeah.
And I think the crux of the story is if you try to get somebody to explain the joke and they can't,
Yeah.
then can't.
But isn't
Kippy.
I swear.
Oh, that's-
you're somewhat very
Oh my
It's just
God. Oh my God, thank
increasing.
you.
that's half and half? Because the sexual harassment thing, 100% no. Like you wouldn't be able to explain that. But also this one, even though I understand the humor. Like I did laugh at it. Explaining it, I was like, if you don't get, it's one of those. If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's like sarcasm.
If you know, you know.
If you don't get it, I don't know how I'm going to explain why my joke is sarcastic, why my comment was sarcastic to you. But if you got it, you got it. If you don't, then that's it.
So I'm assuming a lot of your jokes, you just laugh at it by yourself.
In my head, I'm dying. In my head, I'm rolling on the ground, laughing. Out loud, no one. They're laughing at me, not with me. At me.
No, we laugh with you.
Shut the hell up.
Yeah, we always laugh at
You're
you.
amazing.
up.
Like, look at you.
Shut
just
up.
shining. They glow.
Not my hair though, because it's a bit dry.
It is dry. You need product.
Not there.
Not my hair though. I do believe in the growth thing.
Cut, hold on. You need something for your hair? Cocoa candles. Coming at you at...
New flame.
New flame.
That was just that ad. We're sponsored now, fams. Do you want to introduce the game?
Yes. So the game is going to be, I'm going to be playing theme songs from TV shows or movies. Theme songs. You just have to tell me what it's from.
And how do we signify to
Ooh,
you
how do you want to
that
signify?
we know what the song is?
Do you want to keep doing your purr?
Yeah.
Give us a sample.
Wow.
And what's yours going to be, Sila?
I don't know. Mine be.
I can give you one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
I like it.
My
I
family
like it.
listens to
Okay, what
this.
about Oh no, wait. Can I be a zombie?
Precious.
Okay.
I'm going to do my precious.
Okay, she can take that then.
Okay.
So wait, so mine is
My precious.
yeah.
Cool. We've got those now. I preferred the...
Oh, shut the hell up.
Please give us some like old school stuff.
And not just English. My precious.
Go.
Home and away.
Yeah.
Get it,
Where?
Elf. Get it, Elf.
Go.
Oh, hello world. This is me.
So trash.
Life should be
So trash.
fun for everyone.
Fun for everyone. Life is
Easy when you wear a smile. Just be yourself, don't ever change your style. You
Okay.
are you.
Here we go.
My precious.
Go.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Go.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
It is.
It's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Where is...
They're doing a revival of the show.
Yeah.
But they're doing a drama version.
Oh, okay.
Watch
Yeah.
the
That's
trailer.
very-
The
The
trailer
trailer
is
looks real good.
The
That's
trailer's quite
very
good.
different.
Yeah.
I like that. It's different.
My precious.
Go.
Family Matters?
Yeah. That is.
What the hell?
Cool.
This is out of my generation.
Yeah, it is. It was 90s.
I'm 19.
Okay, then you recognize this. Yeah.
What's that? Oh, no. My precious.
Wait.
Okay, Lamah.
No, I give up.
No, you do know this.
You know that.
We were just singing it.
No, I can't.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say that.
You remember that?
Where's the sun? 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 Where's the
It's the
sun?
beginning.
Fighting evil by moonlight,
Moonlight.
winning love
By daylight.
Daylight.
never run.
From a real fight, she is the one named Sailor Moon.
Go.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I never watched it. My precious. Oh, damn.
Go, Lamar.
A friend.
Yeah.
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 My favorite show.
Do you watch it?
I've never watched it.
No.
No!
I haven't either.
Oh, I think it's so
I've seen
good.
certain episodes, but you like it?
Yeah,
like
I
it.
Yeah.
Man.
I reckon top 10.
Of
For me.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sitcoms.
Is that good?
Yeah, I think it's real good.
Yes, no, maybe. I don't.
Malcolm in the Middle?
Can you repeat that question?
You're not the boss of me now. You're not the boss of me now.
Okay, last one. I don't know who's winning and I don't know who's losing.
No, I don't know.
I-
But I want this to end. Like, I don't know. Go.
Passions.
Yes!
Oh, I was like, I have no idea.
No, this... You don't remember
No. I remember the show, but I don't know. I don't remember the theme.
down.
You know, when I moved to Oz, that was the show that
Yeah,
everyone was watching.
Everyone was watching.
Yeah.
3 p.m. Oh, 4 p.m.
3. No, 3, because
But
I'd only watch
so
half.
many
Tabitha
people
says.
watched that show.
Tabitha.
And Timmy.
Yeah.
Is Passions the one with Cole?
Who?
I think his name was Cole on the show.
Who?
Sunset Beach? No.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Is Tabitha the one with the puppet?
Yeah, with the toy
my
doll.
Gosh. Yeah,
And
yeah,
Charity.
everyone
Charity
loved-
was like
Charity.
the
Charity.
annoying.
She was the most
Everyone
annoying
loved
character.
that show when I moved here.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to another episode. This is Sefa.
I'm Sila.
This is your one and only, the songstress, mistress, mistress of this generation, who sometimes claims German and Chinese heritage, who is also a photographer, a journalist, a singer, songwriter. You can find my tracks on my computer. Obviously you don't have access to that, but if you do, then if you know, you know. But now we've got to go because we're wrapping up the episode.
Ooh.
I'm also a rapper. Don't at me.
Spoken word.
And Kippy.
Thank you.
I sounded so enthusiastic. I
You
loved it.
did.
Like it was
Can
like
you do a song with the word Kippy?
yeah.
Okay.
Kippy lost the keys coming into your world.
Wow.
A freckle face, redhead girl, you wanna know? Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel like you've changed my life today just with that. Thank you, Lamah.
And that's it.